If you're a fan of Remember the Titans, then stick around, because you're about to discover the facts versus the fiction about this classic inspirational sports drama. Unlike what you see in the movie, Boone was in town for a year before he took the coaching job, and he and Coach Yost had met after a football game once, but the movie made it look like they had met for the first time when the Boones got to town. Coach Boone didn't accept the job at first because he didn't want it just because of his skin color. But similar to the movie, local black community members came to his house to convince him to take it. Boone really did break up the segregation on the buses to Gettysburg College because of his desire to see his players get to know each other better during camp. Tensions were high during camp. Coach Boone said in the audio commentary that many of the players brought weapons with them like tire irons and chains, and there were fistfights, but they were about field positions and not racism. However, the screenwriter Greg Howard had said that he doubts those claims because he thinks nobody would want to openly admit that they were fighting because they hated the other race. Football camp was held at Gettysburg College, but they didn't do a 3 a.m. run to the battlefields. They did tour the battlefields while they were there, but they had a guide to tell them about its history and not Coach Boone. Louis Lastic did help break the ice by sitting with the black players, but the real Coach Boone said he wasn't as big or funny as the one in the movie. Sunshine was based on a real player, but he didn't kiss Berteir on the lips. Sunshine's hair also wasn't that long in the movie, and it was actually just as long as the other players too, including Berteir, and he didn't really do Tai Chi in front of the school either. The team did bond like brothers after camp, but the school wasn't in racial turmoil when they returned, because the integration process had happened a lot earlier in 1965. Boone's line before the first game about other schools not needing to worry about race wasn't true, because the other schools had also been integrated before the 1971 season as well. The real Petey did have issues with Boone's coaching style, and Yost did switch him over to play defense. Petey also did take the place of a white player whose dad went berserk over the decision, but the father's outburst happened between games, not in the middle of one, and the whole situation was put to rest when Coach Yost put his foot down. Ryan Gosling's character was made up for the movie to show the selfless attitudes the players had adopted after camp. Two more characters that were made up for the movie were for dramatic tension, and they were Ray Buds, who in the movie was trying to sabotage the team from within, and also Coach Tabor. So the exchange they had when Boone tosses him a banana didn't really happen either. The coaches did have daughters, but Yost actually had 4 daughters, and Cheryl, who was featured in the movie, lived with her mom. The filmmakers didn't like that the names of the coaches' daughters, which were Cheryl and Sharon, sounded too similar, so Sharon Boone's name was changed to Nikki. There also wasn't a rivalry between the two daughters because Cheryl never went over to the Boone's house to play while the coaches watched film. And Cheryl wasn't a football fanatic like she was in the film, but she was there at every game. In real life, it was a toilet that was thrown through Herman's window, not a brick. Some sources say it was changed to avoid making the audience laugh, and the choice to have the coach draw a gun was also to help the situation feel more tense, even though the real Coach Boone reportedly didn't own a gun at the time. The Titans did sing during their pre-game warm-up drills as a means of intimidating their opponents, but they didn't ever dance while they sang. The pressure on Boone to not lose a game in the 1971 season was real, but there was never a plot amongst the referees to force a loss to get Boone fired. And the real Coach Boone said in the audio commentary that they did have their fair share of bad calls, and some could have possibly been because of racism, but Boone said it wasn't as obvious as it is in the film. Berteir did become paralyzed from a car accident, but it happened after the 1971 season was over, but it wasn't a broadside collision like it was in the movie. Gary was in his mom's new Camaro and had dropped off some friends after an awards ceremony, and he was just 6 blocks away from his house when the car went out of control and was sent flying into a ditch. There's no certainty about what caused the accident, but a popular opinion out there is that it was from a mechanical failure. In real life, the 1971 Titans weren't underdogs. They had 9 shutouts and were only challenged by one team in the midseason, which was Marshall, who they beat 21-16. The filmmakers made the switch for dramatic purposes because the real championship game was one of their shutouts with a 27-0 win versus Andrew Lewis. Is Remember the Titans your favorite sports movie? Let me know down in the comments. If you'd like to see more fact videos about other G to PG-13 movies, click a video you see on the screen. And as always, make sure to subscribe and click the bell to keep learning more fun facts about your favorite films.